Greetings again, Ghoul Loots. Tommy Burns, EC Fan-Addict here, and a good friend and fellow Fan-Addict John Gothold reminded me today that it's the 4th anniversary of the opening reception of the big EC art show in Eugene, Oregon. Aliens, Monsters, and Madmen. Probably the biggest exhibition of EC art ever. So I'm going to take a walk down memory lane here. I'll drag you along with me. So that was Friday the 13th of 2016. A lot of us flew into Eugene, University of Oregon, at the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art. First thing we did was got together, a group of us, and went around town looking for these freebie newspapers. So here's the Eugene Weekly. Had a great article about the EC art show. Raising eyebrows indeed. And then here's the University of Oregon's newspaper, the Emerald Daily. EC Comics from the Grave, and they've also got a nice article here about aliens, monsters, and madmen. So once we got to the Jordan Schnitzer Museum, there were a few little giveaways like this business card telling you to hashtag your pictures, and for more information about EC Comics. And then the calendar of events had this great Jack Davis Mad art on it. And then here's a cool trifold brochure that they had with Al Feldstein art inside and information about the show, a little calendar of events. This one-sided postcard was not made available because there's a typo on it. Instead of entertaining comics, they said entertainment comics. But I begged for a copy of it and promised that I wouldn't share a scan on the EC Fan-Addict Club page. Then around town at coffee shops and comic shops and things like that, there were 5 postcards that you could go around and get, but they also had all 5 available at the museum. And here they are. They have this cool design on the back. They've got information about the show, and on the fronts they've got this awesome EC cover art. So there's the set of 5 postcards that were available, and that Vault of Horror cover was also on a gigantic banner out in front of the museum. The following day, there was an EC show and tell where we had one little private room of the museum reserved for the EC Fan-Addict Club, and some major collectors brought some really cool items, but there were also giveaways for that as well. So Roger Hill with his EC Fan-Addict fanzine did a special art show exhibit issue, and this was available at that show and tell, and they are all signed by Roger. And there's some exclusive content in here as well. And this is the only place I know of that has a full listing of all of the art in the exhibit. So as you can see, it was a massive amount of original EC art, and it continues here on the back. So some heavy EC collectors participated, and it was just fantastic. So the museum was divided off. There was one whole wing that was all EC, and it was divided by war, humor, crime and horror, science fiction, and then there was another room that had all collectibles, fanzines, and original comics and stuff like that. Here's another giveaway from that show and tell that we had. This is by Jesse Geyer of the Tiki Tiger and 4-Color Thrills. And this was a cool postcard that he had made up for the event that was given away there. Lastly, at that show and tell, there was this Blame It on Feldstein button that was given away in very limited quantities because it was originally produced for the Comic and Fantasy Art Amateur Press Association's Al Feldstein issue that they had put out shortly before Feldstein passed away. But there were enough leftover buttons that those were also given away at that show and tell. Also, the next day after the opening reception was a panel discussion of EC collectors, and that is available in its entirety on YouTube. It was moderated by Ben Saunders, who was the curator of the EC art exhibit, and Grant Geisman, Roger Hill, Rob Reiner, and Glenn Bray were on that panel, and that's worth checking out too. Here's a couple posters related to that show. Here again is that Jack Davis art, and it's really cool. If you look over here, in addition to Look and Life, he's got Mad, Vault of Horror, and Tales from the Crypt on the newsstand here. And this is another poster for the exhibit, with some cool cover art and original art images, and also a calendar of events there. I wished I could have stayed for everything that they did throughout the duration of the show. It ran from May to July in 2016, but I was just there for the opening weekend. If you want to read more about it, whether you were there or not, Roger Hill's EC Fan-Addict fanzine number 4 has a nice article about it. And it's got a lot of Roger's photos from the event. So that's very cool. And this is still available, EC Fan-Addict fanzine number 4. Check it out. This is much more limited, but the Fan-Addict Suspense Stories fanzine that was created for the 2017 EC Fan-Addict panel at San Diego Comic-Con also has a great article about the event by John Gothold with a lot of John's personal photos from the event. Now this is harder to find, but good news, this article is set to be reprinted in the next issue of Lurid Little Nightmare Makers that is coming soon. So there you have it. I also want to touch on a couple items related to the New York City Society of Illustrators EC Art exhibit, which was another big EC art show that happened a few years after the one in Eugene, Oregon. This book, Revolutionary Art of Madmen EC Comics, is still available from Society of Illustrators Press and Amazon. I would definitely seek it out. It's got beautiful reproductions of a lot of the original art that was in the show. And it's a nice, almost artist edition quality collection of EC art. Another thing that they put out was this limited edition print. It's Bill Gaines by Angelo Torres, the last surviving EC artist. It was a numbered edition, or in this case lettered if you were a contributor to the book. And lastly, they also had a button available that may still be available on the Society of Illustrators website for that exhibit. So there you have it. I'm looking forward to some more EC art shows. You know, they are a lot of fun. So I'll think of some more stuff to show you. But thanks for indulging me here on this anniversary of the big art show in Eugene, Oregon. See you next time.